best-selling authors Devale and Khadeen Ellis. We're talking about how they have managed to make talking about relationships cool, even the complicated days. Before the break, we were talking about creating a safe space and making sure that both partners feel heard.
Absolutely,
right.
absolutely.
Are there rules of engagement in this?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
Say how you feel in real time.
In real time. We have a see it, say it.
See it, say it.
That's our approach to everything, even with the children. You have a problem in that moment, you address it so things don't fester, that you can say how you feel in that moment, and it avoids the escalation of feelings later on.
I love the see it, say it. I love that. I love that.
See it, say it.
Devale, you were recently on a conversation with Mac Wiles, who's been on the show, Saucy Santana, and you said something about children. Children are shiny mirrors.
Yes.
That they reflect us.
As parents, you look at your kids sometimes, and you say, I love my kids, they look just like me, but then they do stuff, you're like, I don't like that. And then you realize, oh, he got that from me.
Yeah.
You know, oh, he got that from me too. Oh, and then it makes you realize I'm looking at little versions of myself.
Yes.
And then it makes you check yourself, because you're like, if you don't like that about your child, imagine how you project that same energy to someone else.
Right.
And people will look at you the same way. So I started looking at my children and seeing things that I didn't like and said, I need to correct that about myself so I can be an example for them, because they're gonna always do what I do.
Right.
I can tell them all the time, they're gonna follow me.
It also gives you, from a parent's perspective, the opportunity to give your children some grace, right? Because as parents, a lot of times we just want to always tell them what to do and how they should do it. But when you see your children trying to navigate the world and you know how that behavior can impact them as an adult, it makes you realize, you know what, maybe I need to take a different approach by just giving them a little grace and understanding how I can help them navigate this feeling.
That is so true, because I was recently talking to someone who said they don't tell their kids to say please, because if you say it enough around the child, they pick up what it's supposed to be used for.
Absolutely.
So versus saying, you don't want to say, now go say please, if they see you using those language, they become a shiny mirror of that. And they learn. And I thought that is such a good concept, right? Really I thought about that. In We Over Me, you talk about alpha male and rejecting what people think of alpha males, and how it also plays a role in Khadeen's life. You said the whole idea of being an alpha male and controlling your wife shows a huge insecurity. It's my job and my joy as a husband to create conditions where Khadeen can go out and fulfill her heart's desires. Seeing her fulfill her dreams is more important to me than just feeling the need to dominate her. I bring that up. First of all, it's a beautiful passage, but I also bring it up because we just did a show the other day on trad wives, AKA traditional wives. And the conversation that a lot of 30-something, early 20-year-olds are having about gender roles and believing that the role of a wife is one static thing. The role of a man or a husband is one static thing. And it's a big debate out there.
Well, for me, it's different because I've watched traditional wives and husbands. My grandfather and my grandmother were traditional. My parents were traditional. But in the black community, there wasn't never a time where black women were just stay-at-home moms. Think about how we grew up in this country. Black women always worked. So I watched the black women in my family work and still cook and clean and be present moms. So when I chose a wife and she chose me, I knew I was gonna have to do my best to not only be a supportive husband, but also be a supportive business partner. Because if she has dreams, I gotta be the voice that amplifies that. Like, that's my wife.
Absolutely.
You know, she gotta go be great in her own life. So.
Do you have those moments? I mean, because as you said, you know, as open-minded as we all are, I do think people still fall into gender stereotypes.
For sure.
You know, I have my son, and one day my husband said, well, you know, you're his mom, that's why he goes to you. And I said, my mom's mom died when she was 10. She had to go to her father because you go to the parent that's your anchor. And you have to both present, because it's a stereotype to believe kids naturally gravitate to mama. Because if you don't have a mom, you're gonna find your anchor.
But even just with us in a household that's so busy day to day, it's literally what person in this moment, which parent, is better equipped to deal with this situation and this issue at this time.
I can't take my son to school because he holds on to me like The Color Purple ending, like Nelly and Seeley. I mean, we're like, you can never part. So
get it.
So for, I think like 3 months now, I have not taken my son to school. I pick him up. I cannot take him. He will fall on the floor. So we, you know, my husband knows, you got to get up extra. These are the parts of the machine. This is the pivot.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. No, for sure. Yeah. And sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's 100, and I'm not doing anything. I was about to say that, but the beauty in it too is that Devale and I have such a great partnership, and I love and I appreciate that he really finds ways to always push me to the forefront. After dedicating a decade to our family, having children, getting back, having children, getting back, now he's like, hey, whatever it is you want to do, tell me how I can help you navigate that. And I love that.
I love that. I love that. Well, we love you. Even in the subtitle of the book, the counterintuitive approach to getting everything you want from your relationship. How does one start to even know really what they want in such a saturated world of people telling you what you... I sometimes go off social media because everybody's an expert. I'm like, I got to turn it off because everybody's preaching to you and they've never experienced a single moment of it.
Tam,
no, for sure.
Tam, this is the biggest thing. When people ask us, right, couples come to us, how did you get your wife to? Why does my wife? And I say the first thing is stop asking me questions.
About your
relationship. Your wife.
Oh.
Yes.
Ask your wife. That's always the first thing I say.
Right.
I can't give you any advice on how to please that woman. I can't give you any advice on how to please that man. All I can tell you is the answers are right here.
Wow.
The way you can ask me if you ask her, but then listen to her when she tells you and don't judge her.
And apply.
And apply it. I love it.
That's simple.
I adore your family. Everything that you've built together is just absolutely beautiful to see.
Thank you.
Khadeen and Devale, their book, We